Now that deer season is over, it has come to an end, and everybody, especially me, dreads the day when deer season is over with for the year. It is towards the end of January right now, and a lot of people are scrambling, still trying to get a last doe kill with an archery, with their bow, or they're hating for it to be over with, and I feel you, I really do. However, look forward to the future. So now that the previous deer season's over with, what do you do? A lot of people ask, what do I do now that deer season's over with? A lot of the mentality is they have downtime where they don't have anything going on. They're not actually hunting. Well, hunting is just a small percent of it. It's actually sitting in a deer stand and running game cameras, looking for the buck you're wanting is just a small percent of it, okay? Now that deer season is over with, it's time to get ready for the next deer season. I've spent the weekend. I'm still running game cameras. I'm constantly in the woods looking for existing scrapes as an indication of what may have survived the deer season and what may be in store for next year. So I've got key bucks that I've targeted, that I've been monitoring with game cameras, or while I'm sitting on a stand, young bucks that I'm looking at that I'm hoping have survived. And it's a crapshoot sometimes in the dirty South. If you're hunting a large parcel of land, say you're hunting a couple of thousand of acres, there's no guarantee that deer that you let walk 5 times is actually going to survive to make it to the next season. But just because you lose him on game camera does not mean he has bit the dust and he's in someone's deep freeze. Case in point, this past season, I had a 9 point. It was a mainframe 8. We had a third beam coming out, making him a 9 point. Young deer, obviously. I saw him several times. I took my daughter muzzleloader hunting, and she decided to let him walk. It would have been a great kill for her, but she knew there was better in the area, so I feel like I've done my job there, raising her right. After she let him walk with the muzzleloader, he disappeared for 3 months completely. I just knew somebody had harvested him. That was not the case. 3 months to the date almost after I had last had a game camera picture of him, he showed back up magically, right? Just knew he was somebody's hamburger. Somebody done ate him. Maybe he got wounded in a fight, hit by a car. I just knew that deer was no more. 3 months later, he reappears, and he's still healthy, and hopefully he'll make a somewhat of a trophy for the next season. So keep your game cameras out. Keep trying to find that intel on where your next biggest buck is. Don't look back on your past and get hung up on one particular stand and say that's my best stand. I cannot wait to hunt it again in the coming years. I always look forward to the next deer season. Don't think that the last stand you killed a big buck on is your favorite stand. You should be looking at the next stand where you kill a big buck as your best stand, your favorite stand to hunt. And that changes from one year to the next, depending on a lot of different circumstances. If we have an extremely hard winter, if we have a mass acorn crop, if the bucks after deer season, whenever they start losing their horns, the rutts are completely over with, they're not looking for anything other than security. Number one, first and foremost, always security, and something to eat. Okay, so if your neighbor has a big lush food plot and you don't, that deer that you've let walk, he may move over to their area. He's going to be looking for something to keep him in shape. So if that happens, keep that in mind and prepare for the next season. So now the down season is over with. I've spent this weekend doing a little taxidermy work. I mounted this deer head. This is a bow kill from a few years back. I've been behind on the 8 ball on getting my taxidermy stuff done. I do my own taxidermy, and I think I do a pretty good job. I haven't entered any contest, but I feel okay with my quality of work per se. So I'm taking care of camp obligations. I'm keeping everything going. I'm here in my camp right now. I've been here all weekend long. It was a rainy weekend. It was a great weekend to do just this. Now that deer season's over with, I can kind of catch up on some things. But don't just forget about deer hunting until the next year. Right now is the time to be planning out where you're going to put food plots, planning out, in advance as best you can where timber is going to be cut, how that may change the deer movement in an area, in your area. If you have food plots, hey, keep a game camera out because that gives you intel on what survived this season. And just because you let a little 2.5-year-old buck walk does not mean he's going to be there next year. Countless times I've seen that happen where deer that people are hunting have relocated because after season they found food source on that parcel of land and not their parcel of land. So move around, But now that season is over with, I look for sheds to some extent, not a whole lot, because here in the dirty South, it is extremely hard to find deer sheds in pine thickets or swamps. As soon as deer drop their horns, their antlers, they are, they're targeted by squirrels and other critters that are looking for a source of calcium to sharpen their teeth. So they get ate up real quick. And it's a needle in a haystack finding a shed in the dirty South where we don't have a whole lot of agricultural land. We don't have clear ridge lines that the deer walk, bordering the edge of the soybean fields or something to that extent. We do find sheds. I don't spend a whole lot of time looking for sheds. I spend more time watching my cameras. The cameras are exactly, they give me the exact knowledge that I need to know that, hey, this 8-point that I had that was, nice but not quite good enough, a 3.5, 4.5-year-old deer, hey, he shed his deer, he shed one side on this date, and he was still at that area on March the 1st. So if he survived to March, then I have a pretty good idea that he's going to be in that area next go round. So just because deer season's over with, take a little breather, rest, recoup, but don't forget about deer season until the next year and try to run out on the weekend before and get all your eggs in a row. Spend some time catching up on projects, taxidermy work, fishing. Go fishing. Hey, everybody likes to eat some fish, right? So, grow your garden, enjoy that kind of life, but keep in mind the food plots and everything and game cameras out to try to make sure you harvest your deer as best possible.